Melissa TV presents in 3, 2, 1, Dateline Schools with your host, Terry Harrington.
This weekend, Dateline Schools had the privilege of visiting one of the little-known treasures we have here in downtown Port Huron. We're visiting the Knowlton Ice Museum. Hopefully give you some ideas of what you can do with your kids through this holiday season. And to tell us all about the museum, my special guest is the director here at the Knowlton Ice Museum, Melissa Davis. And Melissa, can you kind of explain to us a little bit how this ice harvesting really worked?
Yes, around New Year's, the farmers would go out onto the ice field, they called it, which was a big area of water that had frozen over, and they would take a measuring rod and a hammer, and they would poke a hole in the ice just like the ice fishermen of today do, and they check how thick the ice was, and if it was at least 4 inches, they liked it about 18 inches to 2 feet, but they would check the ice, and they would begin the process of harvesting ice, which was marking it off with a ice marker, and then they would scrape the snow off the ice, and then at first they did it by hand. They'd saw off blocks of ice by hand, but then later they used to use teams of horses. Around the turn of the century, they would use small gasoline-powered saws out on the ice, and that was a little bit cleaner than the horses. But tons and tons of ice would be harvested each year off of the ice, mostly in the east of the country, but Michigan sure harvested its share of ice too.
And my guess is as technology came in, we got electricity coming up and all of those kind of things around the turn of the century. That was really the demise of the ice industry back in those days.
Yes, when they started making ice, they called it artificial ice, which is manufactured ice. It was starting to die out, the natural ice harvesting area. And then GE and Frigidaire were starting to make refrigerators, which were motors on top of the ice boxes, basically, and along with the polluted, waters, as everybody was finding out, that really killed the industry.
We'll be back with more tomorrow. For Dateline Schools, I'm Terry Harrington.